We are discussing Tort 1 today, and I want to urge you to start by telling you in this paper, kindly and kindly and kindly appreciate the history. If you want to pass tort law, appreciate the history. Every offense we are going to discuss in this paper, it has a history. We have ably discussed under the different societies the history of each offense, when they all started. So when we discuss an offense here, when you're starting to write in your exam, start with the history. So what am I saying? Appreciate every offense's history under the societies that we discussed already. For example, we are going to discuss trespass to land. Appreciate its history. We are going to discuss malicious prosecution, assault, battery. Appreciate all their history. We are going to discuss trespass to goods. Like in this video, we are going to do defamation, but it has a history. So, backtrack the history of all the offenses under those societies. Colleagues, I repeat the very last time, in this paper that we are going to discuss, Tort Law 1, kindly and kindly appreciate the history. The history must be on your fingertips. You must know each part of the history. What happened in which society? How did it develop? What happened next? And through all those history until when you reach the finance capital. So in this video today, we are going to discuss defamation. And I know that we all know the history because we've discussed it already in the previous videos of the societies, where we discussed slave society, mercantile, feudalism, gentile, finance capital, and very many others. So now let's go to what we call defamation. And in defamation, we're going to discuss defamation, forms of defamation, elements of defamation, and then we shall also discuss the defenses that you can raise under defamation, and then we shall pick one or two remedies that you can go along with, or mitigating factors. So let's now dig straight into, let's dive into what we call defamation. The first question will be, what is defamation? Colleagues, defamation is the act of saying a false statement with the intention of killing somebody's reputation. The act of saying a false statement with the intention of killing somebody's reputation. That is what we call defamation. A false statement with the intention of killing somebody's reputation. So that is what we call defamation. Somebody says something false, a false statement, but with the intention of killing somebody's reputation, with the intention of ridiculing, with the intention of lowering you, okay? Lowering your esteem. That is what we call defamation. Now, how can you say the statement? There are two forms of defamation. Number one is by slander, and the other one is by libel. Now, slander, here we mean temporary, saying words. Words are just said. This is the temporary. You just mention words about someone. But again, libel, when we talk about libel, some people call it libel, others call it libel. Depends on which kangaroo school you went to. But you see, under libel, you're going to find that this is now permanent. Print, you write, you publish in the papers. Okay? Slander is spoken. Libel is written. You publish in the paper. You write about something, false things. That is what we call libel. So those are the only two forms. Those are the only two forms that make up defamation. That either you slander by spoken say of words, but they are nowhere, this is temporary, or by libel. I'll say this. When you slander and when you libel, in the courts of law, you find that libel may attract a bigger punishment than spoken. Because spoken, you may tell only one person. Okay? But libel, The moment you put a newspaper, it has gone very far wide. That is why among the remedies given under libel, court will say, for example, if it's a print paper, court will tell that paper to republish, okay? To republish, saying that they either lied, it was false information, and they give it the audience they had given it in the first place. Let it reach wherever you had sent your paper. Why? Because libel might be permanent, and yet slander is temporary. Okay? So let's go back to the definition as we go to the element, to the definition of defamation. We said it's the act of saying a false statement with the intention of killing somebody's reputation. So now, let's cross to the elements. To the elements of defamation. But I want to ask you, don't watch minus subscribing. If you have not yet subscribed, hit the subscription button on the right corner down on your phone or on your laptop, on your computer, desktop, depends on where you're watching from, so that you keep following, and also turn on the notification bell so that you can follow every time we upload a new video. Subscribe and keep sharing and keep liking our videos. So let's go. We were discussing the elements of defamation. Number one of the elements of defamation is that there must be a false statement. There must be a defamatory statement. A false statement or a defamatory statement. Colleagues, when you say they defamed me, there must have been a false statement which has been said unto you. If you say Walter is a thief, that's a false statement. So in that way, you have defamed me. There is a defamatory statement. There must be a defamatory statement. That is the first thing. That as you want to claim, as you go to a lawyer to claim, a lawyer will ask you, what is the statement which was said that you want to allude to that is defamatory? Was there a defamatory statement? Was there a false statement that is said against you? That's the first thing you must prove. Number two, that it was published. Published means that it was told to someone. That defamatory statement under element number two, was it published? Was it told to someone? I want to explain what you mean by published and telling someone. Now, colleagues, if you are thinking I'm a thief, and you're only thinking it in your heart, in your mind, and you don't utter it out, you don't tell it anyone, you stay with it, and you're thinking about it, that is not defamation. It can't amount. But you must publish. Publish will mean you either tell someone. The moment you tell a third party that Walter is a thief, automatically there now you fall under the category of people who are defaming someone. That it must either it is printed, it is spoken, and if it is spoken, it is told to someone, not openly. Okay? 3, the third element, repetition. That do you have the repetition? Do you, was your repetition killed? This is very important. Not everybody has a repetition. Look at the case of Lukoya Mukome versus chief in editor of Bukede, the justice there, Yorokamba Mwine, said, repetition, having a repetition, is not what you think you are, but is what people in society take you to be. When people in society think that you have a repetition, repetition is not what you call yourself, but what other people call you, what they think you are in society. You can't come and say, me, I have a repetition. Does society agree with you that you have a repetition to keep? So, in the case of Lukoya Mukome versus Editor-in-Chief, Yorokamba Mwine discussed that, saying that repetition depends on what other people call you. You can't say, I have repetition. So it is all about society. So the issue is, there was a false statement said, it was published, and because it was published, it killed your reputation. You must prove to court that yes, you are a man of high standards in society, that you have been lowered to a law-thinking member of society. So you must prove that to court. And I urge you greatly to read the case of Lukoya Mukome versus Editor-in-Chief of Bukede, the case of Best Kemigisha versus Ready Paper, the case of Charles Ruomushana versus New Vision. Now, the case of Charles Ruomushana, use it in all the defenses. It's a locus cascus when it comes to defenses. So I've given you those 3 cases when it comes to defamation. So now let's go to the defenses and also look at the case of Sim versus Stretch. Sim, S-I-M, versus Stretch. And you see the judgment, the definition of defamation as given by Lord Justice, Lord Attkins. Lord Attkins in that case of Sim versus Stretch. It is a 1936 England All Report case. I urge you to go through that wonderful case. So let's now go to the defenses. Now, when you utter false statements against someone and the presumption is you have killed their reputation, that is if they had one. Now, there are defenses. Number 1, truth. You can say, me, I was saying the truth. That man is a thief. That man is a liar. And then you adduce your evidence to show that, yes, what you said was the truth. Okay. Then, number 2, we have fair comment. Fair comment. This one taken like a statement of opinion that it is in the public interest. You say something, a fair comment, but you are saying it in terms of public interest. Public interest. You want to save a corruption, you want to do something, and then you can say it was fair comment in the interest of the public. Their court can let you go. That becomes a defense. Then we have opinion. Statement of opinion cannot amount to defamation because they are not fact. If you say, I was giving my opinion, this was a statement of opinion, so it cannot amount to defamation. Then the other one is privilege. We have absolute privilege and qualified privilege. Qualified privilege means that you say something with the faith, honest faith, you are faithful about it. You say something that you want to save, maybe it is a job reference, but in good faith. But if they established that you said it with the malice, then there will be defamation. That's what we call qualified privilege. And then we have absolute privilege. This one is given to judges, members of parliament when they're in parliament. Whatever they say on the floor of parliament, it is okay. you can't say it's defamation. That is why one time, I think you remember, the Honorable Otafire, when he was referring to the Honorable Nana Mafabi, telling him, can you say what you're saying outside Parliament? Can you say that to Parliament? And you see, I take you to court. Why? Because in the House, members of Parliament have that absolute privilege. They can say anything. You can't charge them because they are in the House, like judicial officers. But if you go outside Parliament and you say so is a thief, then they can handle you locally. So that is what they call absolute privilege. So that is all about defamation. But I'm telling you, kindly read the history of defamation of all the offenses we are going to cover under Tort Law 1. We thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. Subscribe, share, like our videos. Until next time, thank you.